For as long as Samsung's been in the foldable game, there's been one constant: Qualcomm's Snapdragon chips under the hood. Whether it's the Galaxy Z Flip or the Z Fold, every single one has relied on Snapdragon power, no exceptions. But this year, things might finally take a different turn. According to a new report coming straight out of South Korea, Samsung is planning to shake things up with the Galaxy Z Flip 7 by powering it with its own in-house Exynos 2500 chipset. If this actually happens, it'll be a major first. The first time a Samsung foldable is running on an Exynos chip instead of a Snapdragon. Now, to be clear, this isn't totally out of left field. There were rumblings as far back as late last year that the Exynos 2500 was still in the mix for some upcoming Samsung devices. Originally, Samsung had hoped to include this chip in its upcoming Galaxy S25 series, but those plans hit a snag. The reason? Samsung Foundry, the division responsible for making the chips, ran into yield issues, meaning too few usable chips were coming off the production line. That forced Samsung to stick with Qualcomm's more reliable Snapdragon chipset for the Galaxy S25. But here's where it gets interesting. Even with yield estimates currently sitting between 20 to 40%, which is well below the typical 60% Samsung prefers before going into full-scale production, the company is reportedly moving forward with the Exynos 2500 for the Galaxy Z Flip 7. Why? Because the Z Flip line sells in lower volumes compared to the Galaxy S flagship phones. That makes it a safer testbed for Exynos chips, especially as Samsung works out the kinks in its 3nm manufacturing process. And just to add to the mystery, some Z Flip 7 prototypes were also spotted running Snapdragon chips during early testing. That had many fans assuming we were sticking to the status quo. But now it looks like Samsung might be ready to bet on itself, at least for this device. From a strategic standpoint, this could be a smart play. Relying less on Qualcomm gives Samsung more leverage during pricing negotiations. Snapdragon chips have seen double-digit price hikes year over year, so by using its own chips in more devices, Samsung could save money, or at least gain some negotiation power. And let's not forget, the more real-world testing Samsung can do with the 3nm Exynos 2500, the better positioned they'll be when they shift to 2nm chips in the future. That's going to be a huge milestone in staying competitive with Apple and other chip makers. So, the big question is, will an Exynos-powered Z Flip 7 be able to deliver the same level of performance, battery efficiency, and thermal management that we've come to expect from Snapdragon-powered devices? That remains to be seen, and you can bet a lot of people will be paying close attention. So, what about you? Are you excited, or maybe a bit nervous, about this possible shift to Exynos? Do you think Samsung should stick with what works or take the leap and back its own silicon? Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on this whole situation. Until next time, stay curious, stay techie.